The two main components of exposure, shutter speed and f-stop, work together, like filling a glass from a faucet. If the faucet valve is open wide, the glass fills quickly. In this example, the volume of water reached is the same in both cases, but the time it takes to get there is different. It is dependent upon the valve opening. A camera behaves in a similar fashion. The f-stop, or aperture, is like a faucet valve. It is an adjustable hole in the lens that light passes through on its way to the sensor which captures the image. The time it takes to fill the glass is like the camera's shutter speed, which is often just a fraction of a second. The smaller the size of the hole, the slower a shutter speed is required, but as you will see in this example, the same volume of light strikes the sensor. So, 1/125th of a second at f8 is equivalent to 1/500th of a second at f4. f4 is a larger hole, so it requires less time, 1/500th of a second, to reach the same volume of light as the longer exposure, 1/125th of a second, at f8, which is a smaller hole. You may be wondering why a large f-stop, in this case f4, has such a low number, while the small f-stop has a correspondingly high number, f8. The reason is this. The f-stop is a fractional measurement of the diameter of the lens. So f4 is a whole 1/4 the diameter of the lens, and f8 is 1/8 the diameter of the lens. The single numbers are shown instead of the fraction, since there are obvious space limitations on lens markings. On most cameras, you will note the fractional part of the shutter speed is also abbreviated to a single number to save display space. Every camera thus has some form of shutter speed and f-stop to control exposure. There is also a third component, the ISO setting, which affects the range of possible combinations. We will discuss that detail in the next section. Most cameras also have some form of light meter to measure the light levels and help determine f-stop and shutter speed choices. In full auto or program mode, the camera is determining all this for you. This is not always a desirable approach, especially for creative image making. We will learn how to use these controls creatively in the upcoming pages.